Let's talk about your stinking thinking. Stinking thinking. PU. So one of the things about your primitive brain systems is that they draw your attention to the negative things because their job, first and foremost, is to protect you and help you recognize when something that's hurtful or potentially harmful may be coming your way. The problem with this, though, is that biologically, there's nothing that we dislike more than fear and pain. And so when we experience life and we experience things that are negative, we give so much more emphasis to the things that are painful than the things that are good. For me, an example is I can do a lecture and I can get a bunch of great feedback, and then I can have one comment that's like, oh, this could have been better, that could have been better. And my mind will hone in and focus in on that negative thing. And that's a natural thing for us to do. But the problem with that is that it means that more often than not, especially if we've experienced things that are traumatic in our lives, we have a tendency to give more power to the negative possibilities than the positive progress that we can make. And so when you're doing stinking thinking or you're doing trauma thinking, you have a tendency to think of things. I use the acronym SHITTY: subjective, harsh, intense, and terrorizing to yourself type of thinking. The way that you may process anything can tend to be shitty. So when you're having an experience and you're like, oh, I should feel this way, or I should feel that way, or someone else should have done this or should have done that, you can feel how negative that feels inside of you and probably imagine how negatively someone else may experience it. So that's just one example of how we walk around doing this stinking thinking, and that contributes to feelings of depression and anxiety and paranoia and pain because we're expecting negative things to happen. So often our thoughts are very powerful and creative. We will draw those things to us the more that we fixate on them, and your mind will find the negative in a situation, whether it's really there or not, because you have the expectation that it's there. So check your stinking thinking, because it really does make a difference, and practice being aware of your little sliver of perception is not the whole reality. And you have to look for it in order to know that it's there.